I want to talk about the one book that I actually DNF'd in 2024. And to my knowledge, I think this is actually the first book that I did DNF ever. But that's not saying a whole lot because I'm not like someone who's gotten huge into reading. But as I'm documenting this journey, I realized that I think this is my first actual DNF book. I almost feel bad talking about it just because I don't want to talk down on the book, but I just don't think it was for me. And that book was The 1,000th Floor. This initially caught my attention when I was getting into a bunch of dystopian because it kind of ended up on some recommendation lists, and I actually kind of fell in love with the cover and just the idea of it looks like a building. It looks like a skyscraper that's just like floating, and it seems very futuristic, and I had high hopes. I really thought that this was going to be more of like a dystopian world inside of a skyscraper of some sort. And as I started reading it, I realized that it was just like a bunch of teenage drama going on. And as I did some digging, I realized that it was kind of described as like a Gossip Girl kind of storyline by the internet. I made the mistake of thinking that this was going to be a little bit different than it ended up being. I don't know if I just kind of was sold on the artwork. This is a trilogy also, and I was looking specifically for book series, and I thought that this was going to be a great place, something to kind of branch out in and just kind of see more sci-fi, kind of futuristic, that is also dystopian at the same time. And this just wasn't it for me. It's kind of interesting because these people live in a tower, and you are defined by how high you live, which I thought was such a cool idea. And I think there's so many things that you could do with this. However, I didn't enjoy because it was just a bunch of teenagers running around, doing things they shouldn't have been doing, getting into trouble. They even ended up leaving at one point. It's not even like the skyscraper is actually floating in the sky. And I was thinking maybe we're going to see some crazy world or something, and I just wasn't there. It just wasn't hitting it for me, wasn't doing it. I do want to talk just a little bit about actually DNFing books. I think it's incredibly important to actually give yourself that grace and set a goal for yourself. If you're like, I want to commit to the first 5 chapters, the first 50 pages, the first 100 pages, the first however much, and just commit to it. And at that point, listen to yourself. And if you're just like, I am not in this, I'm not interested in this, and I don't want to push it any farther, I don't want to complete, hundreds more pages of this book that I may or may not like. And it can be hard because for me, I don't want to miss out on a pretty bomb ending. But when I think about it, I would rather miss out on this epic ending instead of having to suffer through the beginning part of the book to get to that ending. I would rather put it down and go read something that is going to be fully engaging, a wild ride from the first page, first line, something that I'm truly going to enjoy. And letting go of just the expectation that I'm going to love a book all the way through and fully be engaged with and can't put it down. It's not always going to happen that way, and that's okay. I think you need to give yourself the grace. I need to give myself the grace of reminding myself that it's okay to put the book down. It's okay to not finish a book. And it's no harm on the author, so don't feel bad about it. It's not that the book is bad, but it's just not the right fit for you. And that's perfectly okay. This is a really short video for today, but thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, my name is Nicole. I am someone who is considering myself a new reader in the aspect of just getting really into reading and books in general, not just new to actually reading. I'm kind of documenting my journey, and you are watching one of my 75 hard challenge videos where I am challenging myself to post every single day for 75 days. And I thank you so much for joining me on this one, and I will see you in the next video.